Good morning, guys. My name is Fernando Rivas Plata, and today I will show you how to configure a captive portal, an external captive portal with internal authentication. Well, we must start creating a new network. You put the name as you will. I will name this guest authenticate. Next step is select guest as a primary usage. Go to the VLAN tab. In my case, I use network assigned default. You will use the appropriate network topology you use. Next, go to the security tab. Select external splash type. Select a captive portal profile that you can create before, or you can create a new one from here. In my case, I have this simple captive portal profile created, and I will show you what kind of information you should consider. The most important here is the type must be radius authentication. The other part important here is related with the web server and the captive portal page itself. So these two components, the IP or hostname plus the URL, means this. This is the captive portal web page. In my case, host in a cloud web server, but you can use a local web server. That's up to you. The point here is you need to know the host name of that web server and the URL or the complement URL, which is this in my case. So these two components we must include in the captive portal profile. In my case, the host name is presalesomniswitch.com, which is this first part, and the URL is the other, this second part, /cpe/index/ .html. That's in my case. You must use your appropriate information. The next part important here is the port. In my case, I'm using port 80 to avoid some SSL error, but in production the suggested port to use is the 443, and they use the HTTPS. In my case is disabled. However, in a production installation, it's a good recommendation to enable this. Okay, and that's all. You can click OK. In my case, cancel, because I have the profile already created. The next step to define inside the virtual controller is the authentication server, because we are talking about the internal database server. We just need to choose, actually is per default selected the internal server, which means you will use the internal user database. In my case, I just have one user, which is Fernando, as a guest, right? And that's all. Go to the access, and here you can choose any type of control, like per role, or which is difficult because if you are using the internal database, there is no way to return an radius attribute to assign a different role, different than guest. So the most you can do is a network to define a firewall control, bandwidth control, application control to these guests, and finish. Let's wait. There you go. We have the guest auth network, and let's see what happened when I connect to them, to this, I'm sorry, guest auth. I will connect. Public. Okay, I'm connected now to the guest network. I will try to open, and pay attention here when I call the captive portal page directly from my web browser without pass from the AP. There is no information after the URL. But let's see what happens when I try to connect to a web page after I'm using this new network. As you can see, I have been redirected to this web page, however, with a lot of additional information. This information is posted by the virtual controller to this web page with a HTTP post and include all this information. So this web page needs to have an appropriate form to store these values, this information, okay, and add the field username and password to when I click to the I agree or submit button, I will return all this information plus user and password. Okay, so let's see what happened when I click. I'm using the account, the user Fernando, which is in my internal database within the virtual controller. Let's see. And as you can see, everything goes well. I have connection to the internet now, and let's see if I can reach. Yeah, I can browse the internet without problems. But let's see the speed. What speed I have? I have some speed control. Let's see. No, I don't have any speed control. Let's see why, or what I mean with this. Let's see Fernando. Fernando is connected to the network guest authentication, and I received the role guest authentication. But because as an internal user, I can provide with radius attributes this virtual controller, so there is no way to differentiate the connections. What is different, which is different, I'm sorry, if you use an external user database like a radius. So let's try to modify our SSID to use an external database authentication. In that case, you will need a radius server in some part, probably local or probably external. That's not important, but you will ensure that the virtual controller could reach this radius server. In my case, I have in the cloud a radius server. This is the address. Okay, obviously this is not the radius port, but this is the web management system of my radius server, an accounting server. So I have here some accounts. I can use any of them. Fernando, guest, staff 1, staff 10. I will use Fernando in this test, okay? But before the test, I need to edit the security tab of this SSID, and the splash type is the same, it's external. The CADI portal profile is the same. Which I need to change is the authentication server. In this case, I have created a daily radius, which is my cloud radius, in this case, which is open, is free, and I will show you the configuration of the radio server. It's very important. This is the public IP address of my radio server. In my case, I'm using these ports as authentication and accounting ports. The shared key is important. Match what you configure here, match what you configure in the NAS radius side. And the other values important here is the timeout, because I'm using a cloud authentication server. I put a high value in the timeout, and the change of authorization standard is enabled. In my case, that is not too important to work, but you can consider that. So the most important is the IP, the authentication or accounting ports, and the shared keys. You should click OK or cancel in my case, and that's all. I change now the authentication, the user database authentication source. In this case, it's a radio server located in the cloud. The point here is, and I will show you this user in the radius. I will edit this to show you something. Oh, I need to log in. Let's go to the users again. Oh, come on. List users, and I will edit the user Fernando. Reply attributes. I will reply the filter ID attribute, radius attribute, with the value of 10M, and we will see what happened. Okay. To do that, I will disconnect my connection, my session. I will force the disconnection. And I see I am connected again. So I will try to open a web page again. As is normal, I was redirected to the captive portal page. So I will use the same account. It's the same account in the different user database, and you will see. I agree. There you go. I'm in. Let's see what happened now with Fernando. Oh, Fernando's here. Happened nothing. That's because we need to edit the guest authentication SSID and create a role-based access and define a rule to use the radius attribute I am passing from the radio server, which is filter ID, right? Filter ID equals 10M, and I will assign a role inside my virtual controller. Let's see what happened now. Again, I will force the session disconnection. I will disconnect this. I'm connected. Try to reload this page. I was redirected to the captive portal, and again, there you go. I'm connected. I'm in. And now let's see what happened with Fernando. Ah, there you go. Now, if you realize the role Fernando have changed. And this is very important because when the role change, I can, give more or less network resources. And let's see the speed, the throughput of my session now. So before the speed was more than 20 megas. Let's see what happened now. As you can see now, I have traffic shaping work on my session, which is very good because in a hotel, this type of control is very important. So we need to give enough bandwidth to our customers, to our guests, but not unlimited, because we have a BYOD phenomenon, the IoT phenomenon, which means an invasion of new devices in our networks, and we need to distribute the bandwidth in a fair way. So this is the way. I hope this information help you in build good solutions with Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise wireless LAN portfolio without the need to add a Clearpass appliance, which is very good product, however an expensive product for some projects. So have a great day. God bless you guys. Bye.